Well, hello, Dr. Melissa Davis.
Hello.
You're a huge fan of The Office, right?
Yes.
The American version or the British version?
American.
Is there even a comparison in your mind?
No, I don't understand their humor.
I don't either. It's funny and kind of, but I don't know. To me, the American version is my favorite show.
Yes.
And I've only seen one episode of the British version.
Same here. Yeah.
Besides Andy Bernard, who would you be if you were the Office character?
Oh, Dwight. He has more fun.
I've never heard anybody describe themselves as Dwight.
Oh, yeah.
And
just to be clueless. Oh, yes.
And proudly.
Yes.
One time somebody described me as Dwight if I were an Office character. And do you know what their logic was? Is that I have glasses. I'm like, okay, I'm Michael Scott, Jim second at best. But maybe I think too highly of myself. But yeah. So you went to Cornell.
I did my postdoc there, yes.
What's that mean?
So after you complete a PhD, it's kind of residency for those that finished a PhD. Just like if you complete medical school, you do your residency somewhere.
Okay.
A postdoc is kind of the PhD residency. So you're doing 2 more years of research where you run, in my case, I ran a lab for one of the professors there, did the research, wrote the grants, published papers with him, that kind of thing.
What did you research?
At Cornell, we were doing a little bit of everything. We studied plant diseases. We were working with insects on crops, so mostly working with organic dairy farming. We had farmers that were having a huge problem with an alfalfa snout beetle that was infecting their...
Did you say alfalfa?
Alfalfa.
Does that mean when they
beetle?
get excited, their hair shoots up or something?
No. They were growing fields and fields of alfalfa to feed their cows. But they had to grow it organically or the milk would not be considered organic. So this little beetle would emerge from the soil and eat all their alfalfa crop, and they were having a lot of trouble. So we did a lot of research with that. We were in vineyards and orchards and different types of things like that because of pests that were affecting the fruits, So it was just a little bit of everything. We flew drones and sampled the atmosphere for fungal spores. I mean, we did quite a bit of everything.
You're a drone specialist?
No. I was the one that outfitted samplers so that we could catch those pathogens in the air. And then, so I was working with the engineers and the pilots to do that. I was on the biological side of that.
Well, here's the big question. Which came first, the alfalfa feed, or the Little Rascals? I've never heard of an alfalfa outside of the Little Rascals. And I know I'm not like an ag business person, so maybe I'm just stupid, but
I don't know.
Should everybody have heard of alfalfa? Am I the Lone Ranger here?
Oh, like the alfalfa as a plant?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it's been around a long time.
I've seen people put it on their salads.
Yeah.
I've never tried it. It looks funky.
Yeah.
And gross.
It's an herb. So you have severe sinus problems and want to drain it, take a bunch of alfalfa.
Really?
It'll get rid of the fluids. Oh, yeah. A lot of women that are going to have a baby, you don't want to swell, your feet don't want to swell, just alfalfa tablets. It's a big herb.
We need a whole podcast on natural things that you can take.
But people
like
that
alfalfa.
are horse people, they feed their alfalfa hay to their horses. It's very expensive, so.
Are there a lot of
alfalfa's been
horses in
around.
this area?
I guess not as many as you'd see in like Kentucky or someplace like that, but we do have pockets of it. Yeah.
What do people research in this area?
This would be a rice pest. So you're going to be looking at lots of rice diseases. There's a lot of corn still here, You'll see some wheat, but it's usually more as a cover crop, things like that. But I would say rice and soybean are going to take the...
What is growing
majority.
around campus? What are all the fields that are around us? Rice?
We've got soy budding up to us. I think there was some corn. I'm not sure. I haven't gone all the way around, but yeah, I haven't seen rice. You would see that flooded somewhere. That's usually more toward between Corning and the Missouri line. You're going to see a whole lot out there. And even honestly, between Paragould and Corning, there's going to be a whole lot of fields.
Corning the city, not Corning the fields around us. Just so the listeners are clear.
Yes.
Corning.
Yeah.
Corning.
One time I heard that the rice plant in Jonesboro was one of the largest rice plants in the world.
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
Is it true?
Probably so. I would say that Arkansas, that's our number one crop. So there's a huge amount of storage here,
Okay. Yeah.
Bins for those.
I also grew up near Mountain View, Arkansas, and I always thought it was the folk capital of the world, but then I realized it's self-proclaimed folk capital of the world. So,
Right.
which made me just kind of rethink, is
Yeah.
Rice something the self-proclaimed Rice capital of the world?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to be fair in my assessments and my pride.
Sure.
So
So where did you do your doctoral work at?
Virginia
Taylor,
Hi.
we have Taylor Hoskins in here with us, by
Hi.
the way. Coach Hoskins. Why are you want to talk about work stuff so much? Aren't we supposed to be having fun right now?
I know. I'm so impressed with her resume and all the things. I'm just reading through all the things that she has done, and being a woman in higher education, I'm loving it.
Okay, well, Coach Hoskins, you keep going then, since you have her resume in front of you.
I know.
Is that your resume?
I printed her resume off.
Okay, well, keep going then.
Okay. You got your doctorate at Virginia Tech. I'm stuttering, sorry. So tell us about your doctorate. Where'd you go?
I went to Virginia Tech. I worked for the plant pathology department. So I believe it was specifically called plant pathology, physiology, and weed science department. So I was in the plant pathology side, which just means we studied plant diseases. And so when you're a graduate student, you search out who has the funding. That's how you go for free. So you look for the people that have funding and you do whatever research they were doing. And they were working on Fusarium head blight. It's a fungus that affects corn, wheat, and barley mostly. So people that are particularly interested in that are the, people that have any kind of fermentation in their grains. So like
Is that code for alcohol?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. So
Well, we can talk about beer on here. This is a free place to
Oh,
explore
goodness.
words and think
Yes.
for free. So.
I did not work in that part, but a lot of the
Sure.
research money comes
How
from.
would you even remember?
Yeah.
A lot of the research money does come from Budweiser, Miller, those kind of things. So Anheuser-Busch is a big sponsor, but mine actually came from the local funding agency.
Could we get them to sponsor this episode?
I don't know.
That would
Small
be
grains of Virginia, maybe not.
There'd be a conflict of interest.
But yeah, they funded my research for the 4 years I was there, and we studied this particular fungus that affected wheat, barley, and corn. So it would emerge on the crops, and then it causes this nasty toxin in the grains. So once your grain goes to be stored in those storage bins you were talking about earlier, if the mycotoxin levels are too high, they won't accept it, or they end up giving you a really low value for it. You don't make a lot of money on it. So it's really, there are other states and it's a fungus that affects everybody around the world. It's very common outside of here. We don't see it as much in Arkansas as you would. Virginia's impacted quite a bit. The Dakotas, North and South Dakota, it's big. Oklahoma, Kansas, big wheat growing areas, barley growing areas, those kind. But around the world, China, Russia, Ukraine, they grow a lot of wheat and they struggle with it. So it was an international problem that we got to figure out what was going on. But my job was to figure out what was going on in the atmosphere with it. So we had drones that would fly, at different altitudes, and we'd look for it, because the general thinking was that this fungus, once it emerged and the spores started coming off the crops, that it didn't go into the atmosphere and then travel kilometers. And so we proved that it actually did. So it's not just a county-wide problem, it could be a countrywide problem, national problem, if enough spores get in the air and travel. So we proved that it did travel and put to rest a lot of the thinking that it didn't. So
What are the Williams students going to be able to learn in this agribusiness program? Are they going to be able to research things like that? I know you're going to be working in the greenhouse, correct? For a class?
Yes. Plant science. We'll eventually offer a greenhouse management class. But right now, this is going to be a really nice eclectic mix of business classes and agriculture classes. So they're not only going to get a taste of some of the experience I've had with plant science and soil science and things like that, they're also going to be able to take classes in marketing and economics, and they're going to see that world impact in a totally different lens from other instructors as well. So I'll bring my experience to the classroom, but we've got some awesome business instructors with lots of real world experience that are going to chime in as well. So I'm jealous. I'm going to be taking these classes alongside them, I think.
Well, one thing I see in students is whenever they come and they start a degree program and they realize, okay, this is my professor, and they see like I like my professor and this is what they're passionate about, they tend to want to fall in line with that. They want to follow in your footsteps, so to speak. So what What do you think students are going to be passionate about after coming to Williams, like, and being in your degree program?
They're going to have a lot of different options, probably even more so than I did coming out. I was mostly agriculture based and that was it. But these students are going to have options from all the way from doing what I did, which was go into research and becoming an educator, to, working in a bank and lending and things like that, actually helping the farmers from a financial standpoint. They're going to have, knowledge where they could be crop consultants, or they can, run a farm or a ranch on their own. They're going to have a lot of marketing strategies and things like that. So they won't just be a science background. So they're going to be very marketable.
What's the degree called?
Agribusiness.
Okay, so it's called agribusiness.
Mm-hmm.
And how many hours is it?
It's 120 hours for the degree, so a typical 8-semester degree. So it would take 4 years of time.
Uh-huh. And tell me about the ideal student. Like, what's the perfect student in your mind? Where do they come from? What are they interested in? What are they going to do while they're on campus? I can actually, those are really deep questions. So
they are.
Who's the ideal student?
I think anyone can do this degree. I think it can be someone who's not really even sure they really like science. That's my favorite student, honestly, because I love showing them why you maybe should love it or could love it. And then from there, I think that most students, know the value of money and have maybe even held a job, so they know the business side a little bit, and we'd love to expand on that. So I really think it's going to be open to anyone who's ever thought of getting into this. I don't think it necessarily has to be a science student or someone who loves science or even someone who loves business. I think anybody can take their shot at this one and actually realize that not only agriculture, but business as well is very practical, something you can actually put your hands on and see working and hopefully fall in love with it.
Is the degree affordable?
Yes. That's the one thing about Williams that I think students need to explore. We have lots of scholarship opportunities. We have the Williams Works program. We are going to meet with those students and open doors that maybe they didn't consider before. Especially at a smaller school like Williams, you're going to get a lot more one-on-one attention. You're not going to just be a number. And you're not going to have lecture halls full of 300, 400 people when you're taking, a biology class, or, you're going to have one-on-one attention from all of your instructors, and you're going to get to know lots of other students. And it's more of a family here than what you're going to feel at a much larger school.
What are the benefits of being a residential student versus living at home and traveling back and forth?
Well, Williams offers so many opportunities for students here on campus, and, not only sports and athletics and things like that, but also clubs and just general group of friends. We have lots of job opportunities on campus, which is neat that you can live here and work here. But this is going to be a place where you live and study and hopefully work and play hard too.
Yeah. And kind of like you said earlier about your doctoral degree, like, you didn't have a job while you're doing it because you were immersed in it.
Absolutely.
And I think there's a different, think about the sacrifice you have to make as a college student financially, time-wise. Like, you're setting aside 4 years to say, I'm going to take on the identity of a student and be completely immersed in it so that the next 50, 70 years, however long you live, depending on how hard y'all work on extending life to 150 as scientists, you're setting yourself up you're sacrificing a lot to take care of your long-term future, in my opinion. And I think that's a major sacrifice, but totally worth it. I just think it's important.
How would this benefit the kids whose families have farms? Is this a beneficial program for them where they can learn how to market their own family farm, or, help grow their crops, or, you might want to cut that out. I mean, how would this benefit the kids who, do have to work on their farm in the summertime and help their families?
That's a great question. I think you're going to come out of here with lots of skills, not only just more knowledge of, the science behind what maybe you're already doing, but also the business side of things. A lot of farming kids, if you don't mind me calling them that, a lot of farming kids come out and they may have always done it a certain way, or their dad always did it that way, or their mom always did it that way, or their grandparents always did it a certain way. We're going to expose you to, maybe different ideas. We're going to explore even what you're doing now. There's going to be a lot of hands-on opportunities where we want to hear what you're doing, and we're not going to criticize. We want to know, what are you doing? Maybe you bring something to the table that one of the other students hasn't heard yet. So we're going to be having a lot of discussions about things like that. And then we'll be teaching you skills where we might put actual terminology to that maybe you didn't know that is is an economics dilemma. That maybe the agricultural law will show you something that you didn't realize there was a case that's already been decided out there. And we're gonna actually put some knowledge in your head that maybe you wouldn't have gotten exposed to without this degree.
So you said they're going to have education law or agri law.
Mm-hmm.
What other classes do they take, or what classes will be offered on campus?
Right. You kind of have. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and start off with the ones that maybe you're most excited about too.
Oh, sure. So the traditional classes in any agriculture business degree, wherever you go in Arkansas or any other state, you're going to see the top 3. That's animal science, plant science, and soil science, which we will offer. And you'll take with me. Those are the ones I'll teach. And then we're also going to have classes like agriculture law, agriculture marketing, agriculture economics. If you don't want to take those courses with an agriculture influence from someone like me, we have lots of business classes that are just basic economics classes. So you can choose, do you really want to know only about agriculture, or do you want to kind of broaden your horizons and sit with a group of students that are just business and don't have that agriculture background? So you're going to be given some options in your courses. You're also going to take accounting courses like that you can use with any degree that you have or any career that you choose. So the most exciting class is probably plant science because, of my background, we're going to be actually working in a greenhouse and growing our own plants and learning some basic, physiology and things like that. But it's just a basic class. You don't have to have any knowledge to do well in these classes. We're going to make sure these are entry level, anyone can succeed.
Maybe I need to take that class so I can learn how to keep my ferns alive.
I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a nerd over here, but all I can see in my mind is like the Harry Potter classroom session where they're doing the plant science and those little things come out screaming.
Right.
Because you're going to be in the greenhouse.
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot, I hope. So yeah, that's the plan is we're going to be in the greenhouse and growing our own plants and just learning as things happen. You're always going to get some sort of disease on your plants. You're always going to have some sort of insect that's, affecting your growth, things like that. So I'm hoping that we're going to just dive in day one and start growing some things. And maybe we'll even get some calls from people like Taylor who are like, we don't know what's wrong. I'm going to bring my class over. So
Come to my house and
we will come figure it out.
Can you figure out how to grow blue mums? I want some Williams colored blue mums.
I like it.
Would that be so cool?
That would be cool. Have you seen the ads on Facebook that are like, hey, download this app and scan your yard or scan your plant, and it'll tell you how often to water it or like how to put coffee grounds on it or give it ginger ale. Is that stuff accurate? Like, can you just look at things and something figure out what it needs?
So AI is quickly replacing all of us. And I think, I'm in that boat too. All the plant diseases, all the knowledge that I have, these apps, AI in general, it's learning even when we're sleeping. So I think eventually it will get to that point. I don't think we're there just yet, but it is alarmingly accurate. And that is another thing that will be incorporated into these courses. We're going to play with these things because the students need to know that they're out there, especially those that you mentioned that work on their own family farms. These apps, I mean, you can use, Chat GPT, and there's others that are getting better and better to design a business plan for your own personal farm. You don't have to have the business knowledge that you would have once had, but we're going to give you the tools. Not only this is the terminology, these are the concepts that you need to know, but we're going to teach you how to use that technology that's going to be out there. And it's, like I said, getting better every day. There's too many to keep up with, but yes, the plant diagnosis app is really awesome.
I need that in my life.
It looks fantastic. But then, like I'm pretty deep into the tech world in other areas. And then you realize, like, when you're an expert in one area, you realize the limitations in AI on your own area. But then you just assume in other areas it's like the expert and smarter than the smartest person, but you got to realize it's still limited. So it's good to hear that it's not perfected yet.
Oh, no. Yeah, I think you still benefit from the knowledge that, what are you actually taking a picture of? I don't think just snapping, they show you how easy it is just snapping from a distance. We're going to play with it and see how precise it is. Because if it's really the leaf that you're concerned about, what if it's actually the roots under the ground? And that's something we can teach you still that the students may not know. They may just take a picture of that leaf. Well, what if the problem really is under that surface, or if it's actually your soil? So we'll play with it and see how accurate it is. But
feel free to use my yard.
Okay.
Feel free to go out there. Bill and I share a backyard now, so you can just use that whole area and just
nice.
use it as a classroom.
Yeah, this past year, every time it rains, it's like it holds water now. And it didn't do that until this past spring. So maybe if you know how to get rid of water, that would be awesome too.
We will bring a shovel.
Okay.
I think that's good old-fashioned.
Yeah. Digging. Well, Taylor, you have any more questions before we completely switch gears?
What's been your favorite thing about Williams?
Ooh, good question.
Oh, the people here. The people, especially those that are sitting here in this room. Everybody is very welcoming. We're all working for a higher purpose and want to follow God with everything we do. And I think that it serves as a really nice atmosphere to work in, but also it's such an opportunity for students to experience something that maybe they wouldn't experience everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have this really cool agribusiness PDF that we will put in the notes. But one of the things it says is strong industry connections for better job placement. And so it says 17% of U.S. jobs, 22.8 million lives depend on agriculture. And I think that means obviously everybody depends on agriculture to eat and survive. So it's 100%. But there's a lot of jobs in that area. But we're not just trying to get people into the right job and to get the right kind of paycheck, but it's to find the calling and purpose. Mm-hmm. So obviously, like, you seem very passionate about this. Do you feel like it's your calling and purpose to not only be in agriculture, but to be in like education and passing it on to the next generation?
Absolutely. I've been in higher education for a very long time in different capacities, and being able to come to Williams and create a program from scratch almost, is such an opportunity. Yes, it's a calling. I hope the students are called to come and join us, honestly, too. Our mission at Williams is to create Christian leaders in their fields, and I can't wait to be a part of that, where we can put Christian leaders into agriculture and assist the farmers across the state of Arkansas, but also anywhere they want to go.
Yeah. What does that development look like? I mean, paint a picture for day one. Like, what do you hope your students experience with you from day one?
I think there's a lot of compassion for others that comes with agriculture. You're not just growing it to feed your family, you're growing it to feed everyone. And whether it's animals or plants, doesn't matter. I think that it's almost a calling just to be in agriculture. You're serving. It's a servant role in general.
How many Baptist universities have an agribusiness program?
None that I know of.
Except Williams.
We're the first. Woo!
One and only.
I think so.
How does it feel to be the first agribusiness program for a Baptist university, and you have been given this awesome task of starting it?
That's, humbling, very humbling, because I don't know if I'm worthy of that title, but I'm going to work toward it. So
I did not realize we were the first one.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's switch gears. I know we just talked about like purpose and calling, but what if, let's say you couldn't do agriculture. What would be dream job, dream profession, favorite hobby that is counter to the agribusiness industry?
Oh my goodness, completely away from education in general?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh goodness. I don't know if I should say.
Okay, I was about to say, this is a good sign. There's nothing else on your radar. That's awesome. So, no, go ahead and say it.
Oh, I love to cook.
Okay.
I would probably, if I was just rich and could do anything, I'd open a diner and I would just cook honestly, I would open at the crack of dawn and I'd cook for farmers that were passing through. That would be my ultimate. My grandfather was a farmer, and I don't know, there's something about getting up at the crack of dawn and smelling bacon and eggs and homemade biscuits and things like that. I'm a Tennessean, so you have to cook, But I love to be in the kitchen. It's what I do in my spare time. I love to can and, I don't know, just anything in the
That's
kitchen.
Really cool.
It's very peaceful.
Yeah. What do you like to cook?
Oh, goodness. A little bit of everything, but my favorites are any kind of breads. There's something about, I still remember, my grandmother using her hands to fold the flour and,
Mm-hmm.
the milk and just things like that. So I have a lot of memories of those kind of things that are special to me. So that's probably my favorite, just because I remember so many things about my childhood,
Yeah. That's awesome.
I would love to take a class.
Yeah.
You could teach me how to make bread and to keep my plants alive.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. I know this is kind of off topic, but when I became plant-based and vegan, which I'm not anymore, but I was for 4 years, I feel like I had to learn how to cook differently because I was cooking without oil. and I was cooking without meat, which has a lot of flavor. So you were working with textures and seasonings and like temperatures. It just took it to a whole new level, and I really appreciate that art more so than ever now. But I've never made bread, and bread smells so good. So,
Fun fact, do you know Dr. Foster has his starter from like 100 years ago?
yep,
That's
Did you know this?
amazing. No,
and makes really great bread.
that's
He makes
amazing.
great bread.
And he doesn't sell it, so you have to befriend him and like him, and he'll bring it to you for free. And you have to ask. You have to get on his radar for it, but it is worth it. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you like to can?
say salsa. Please say
Please
salsa.
say salsa,
Yeah.
please.
No, not salsa.
Ah.
Maybe,
All right,
maybe I'll
let's end
try
it
that
here.
sometime. But
Okay.
no, it's mostly, I love to go out and, collect. I love to pick strawberries or pick some kind of berry and do
Yeah.
that. Peaches are fun, even though they're really messy. It doesn't matter. I've tried my hand at pickles. Those are difficult, very ticky. Like cucumbers are in general ticky. But I mean,
Do you mean like ticks that suck blood?
oh no, temperamental.
Okay.
Temperamental. It's definitely an art. I admire anybody that can make a good crispy pickle right out of a jar that can be canned. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
I'm growing a peach tree, but I found out
Nice.
after I planted the peach tree that it takes 2 years to get peaches.
Yes.
I didn't know this, but you knew this, I'm sure. I was like, man, I won't have peaches this summer.
There you go. Favorite book? And it can be about agriculture if you must.
I don't have one off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, let's do the cool stuff then. Favorite TV show?
Well, I mean, The Office is the ultimate TV show.
You heard it here
Family and
first.
comedy. One of the best written shows ever. Yes.
I agree. Michael Scott is just a good man.
Right.
And yeah, if I had to pick a second favorite TV show, it's another show that makes you just feel good to be a human. And I think The Office really does put a comedic laugh to real office drama. Like if I were in an office scenario where I had a real life Jim pulling pranks on somebody and getting away with the stuff he does, I'd be annoyed with him too.
Right.
But because it's on TV, it's hilarious. But it did do a good job capturing the human spirit, I
Mhm.
think. Go ahead, Taylor. Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay. Well, can we talk about work stuff again?
Sure.
Okay, so Williams, when did you start here?
April of this year. So
Okay. What are you looking forward to this fall?
meeting the students. I've met quite a few already, but getting to know them
Uh-huh.
better. And they're coming from a lot of different, backgrounds. So it'll be exciting to have them all in one classroom.
Yeah. What do you think of our greenhouses?
Oh, they're fantastic. Yeah, you wouldn't usually see that on a campus like this. It's very surprising that we have such a beautiful greenhouse to work in.
So I've lived here for a long time now. I went to school here, and it's easy for me to take for granted things that other people really appreciate. But tell me some more things about Williams that kind of surprised you, or you think that are really good assets that we have that people like me kind of look at and just take for granted.
Well, I think a lot of the faculty and staff probably don't even realize how large of an egg production facility, and now almost a second facility we're about to have. It's amazing. I couldn't believe when our farm manager was taking me on a tour, how many things we have to offer, specifically agribusiness students to get to see. So I'd never been in a large scale egg production facility, and it houses 20,000 hens. I mean, we're building another one that's slowly getting completed, 10,000 more hens. So our capacity is going to be huge, and we're growing organic eggs. It's just amazing. But we also have a meat processing plant. You just drive right by it when you're coming into campus. So I'm hoping that the agribusiness degree will actually highlight some of those things that we haven't really, taken on as our image necessarily here at
Mhm.
Williams.
Yeah. Anything else about that?
Agriculture specifically, or
No,
anything?
just anything. Yeah.
I'm hearing things about our choir and our theater productions and things like that, but I haven't had a chance to actually partake. So yeah, I'm excited about that too. I think, integrating the arts and sciences is really important for students. I'm really excited we have that available, that we're not just focusing on sciences here or business and things like that, but we're also embracing the arts. So
Yeah.
What about our corner store? Have you been there yet?
yes, it is amazing. If you need a gift, you need to stop there for sure. I've stopped there several times. It's a really great place to pick up something, but it's unique. It also will showcase a lot of our vegetables and, flowers, that we've grown here at Williams. So it's a really neat, eclectic blend of things that you can purchase. So very unique to a campus.
I just purchased some banana peppers from the corner store, and I have been eating them straight. And they're so good.
Good.
They are so good. I'm pretty sure they're banana peppers.
I love banana peppers. Like they're on the salad from Olive Garden.
Oh, yes.
They're so good.
They're so good.
Yeah. They're so good.
So yummy.
Well, you may know the answer to this one, because I lived in Jonesboro in 2013, 14, and a long time before that too. But the farmer's market went from like zero to hero of that town pretty quickly. And then I lived in Paragould when the farmer's market started there, like in downtown. And this was like 5 years ago. And or maybe even 3 or 4 years ago, what was wild is at first they were encouraging people to go to the local grocery store, buy stuff, and then come and resell it just to get more vendors there. And then the vendors were like, no, I'm bringing my own stuff. Like, how dare you even encourage that? Like, there was a little bit of like, this isn't fair or fun. Like it takes some of the spirit of the farmer's market away. But now they have that huge canopy and all that stuff built for it. Anyways, it just like overnight, it felt like it exploded in popularity. And then now the Lawrence Memorial or Lawrence Healthcare, they've started one farmer's market. And I drove by the other day and they moved it to the pavement, which I think at first it was in the wrong location. Now it's better, but it looks small. But is it going to blow up with popularity too? Is this just like a trend across the world where you start a farmer's market, next thing you know, it becomes like the talk of the town?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. In the age of, TVs and computers and electronic devices, it is. I've been to the Paragould Farmers Market. I've been to the Jonesboro, that one that you're talking about next to A-State. It's incredible to see that many people bringing their children and just allowing them to see something that they wouldn't normally see, fresh grown produce and people that are just, even everything from growing flowers, and people selling, just cut flowers. It's amazing, but they're also getting exposure to the music that's being played by a local band. And it's really an incredible experience, but I hope that continues. It seems to be something that we're searching for. There's a lot of chatting on, Facebook and things like that. You'll see chats where people are looking for this kind of stuff, especially you pick fruits and things like that. They want their kids to actually be picking those strawberries they're eating.
Aren't we getting one of those? A you pick?
Not yet, but we're trying. We're going to look into that. I know Brad's very aware it's popular. So
okay,
I think we have a you pick farm coming.
Yeah, is that news to you?
It is. If we've made that decision, he was not sure.
I think they have this stuff sectioned off. We have the painting.
I hope so. I told him I think we need to do it because we grew the best strawberries in the whole region, from what I can tell. No one had strawberries, and somehow we did. So people were buying, everything we had. They were getting calls at the store, I know for sure, and they were buying whole flats of them. Just amazing, because there weren't any anywhere. It was too wet this year.
Really?
I need to look up.
Yeah.
We had a donor.
Yeah.
For the U-Pick. It's going right beside the greenhouse.
I'm thinking the field U-Pick. Yes, we're the community garden. We are definitely, once we get our boxes built, they're going to be raised bed. So it's going to be a raised bed garden. And yes, they're going to be able to come and pick. And I believe our agriculture students are going to be part of that planting in the spring. And hopefully it'll be ready in the summer. So that's the timeline I've been given. So yes, I guess if they're going to call it a U-Pick. Yeah, I guess so.
So how does the education that you're going to provide here differ from like what you experienced in education? Or did you have the hands-on agribusiness in your college experience?
I didn't have the business side. I was mostly on the science side. So my undergraduate degree is in environmental science. So they're very eclectic group of classes, everything from, biology, chemistry, environmental science, that kind of thing. And then when I got to grad school is when I really, everything's hands-on pretty much at Virginia Tech. So you actually are growing crops and, infecting them with diseases and then studying that disease. And
how dare you? Making those plants
controlled.
Suffer?
Absolutely. For the better good of everyone, yes. But a small scale. But yes, you get hands-on experience, and then you publish that experience, or you're publishing that knowledge so that others can benefit from it. So everything was very hands-on there. And what we're doing as a bachelor's degree program, this is going to be, you're learning the fundamentals, and I'll incorporate a lot of that hands-on thing. You got to know the basics before it even matters or applies.
So have you seen the new Jurassic World movie?
Not yet, no.
I have. It's so good.
It's so good.
Okay.
It was honestly, I was scared a couple times, and that's been a
Oh,
long
I
time.
screamed.
Yeah, I was.
My goodness.
The original one came out like in 94, 95, right?
I love this.
And I watched it in theaters, and I was 7, right? So I left during the T-Rex part. I've not been like that scared. I obviously said I didn't leave the movie, but I just thought like this movie's actually has some pretty terrifying moments and like realistic feeling. If this were a 4D movie, I'd be throwing up right now, is what I'm trying to say. But it's really good.
It is good. I definitely screamed several times throughout the movie.
Yeah, but so I just think about like the vegetation that they bring back and the things that they do, like in all the movies, is to me it's just wild. That's like you would think the dinosaur would be the premier thing, but they're also like obsessed over all these plants.
Mm-hmm.
Really? I'm going to have to see that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, even in the original Jurassic Park, like they're
True,
looking at
they
the
were.
leaves like, where did you get this from? But I guess it just means that I'm like a dinosaur nerd and not like a everything kind of nerd. So, or just nerding out on dinosaurs exclusively. But there's like there's a lot of nerdiness around all that.
Does that happen in real life where
does that
people
happen?
go to other islands and steal plants and bring them back?
We actually had a case recently, but it wasn't a plant. It was the fungus that I actually worked with. We had a couple of Chinese students that were bringing, I believe, to Michigan State. They were trying to smuggle it in.
I
their
saw the
luggage.
article on that.
Yes, and they really threw the book at them, and I was surprised because they made it seem like it was a very dangerous pathogen. And yes, maybe if they were bringing a really aggressive strain, but I was a little disappointed because, that goes on a lot more than you think. So they're definitely cracking down on transportation of pathogens and plant material. The problem with plant material, like a leaf or whatever, you could be bringing diseases into the U.S. But it's happened a lot in the past. It's very easy to slip something like that into your luggage. But apparently they're looking. So
why did they throw the book at them? Was it because of COVID?
I think they're just cracking down on
anything foreign.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's interesting that it's now versus 10 years ago. But
yeah.
But there's always been regulation. APHIS is our government agency that regulates all that stuff, and you have to apply for a permit to transport any kind of plant material or pathogens of any kind. Because there's researchers, we want to exchange, samples of things that helps them research the same thing we're researching, and a lot of collaboration. So, but as long as you go through the proper channels, and those 2 students coming from China had not. So that's why they were pretty upset.
Would people lose sleep at night if they knew what you knew about pathogens and plant diseases and things that could have happened to us or that are on the rise that could happen to us? I just want to be scared right now.
I think COVID scared everybody in a way that was healthy. Knowing that a virus mutates the way it did is common knowledge to a pathologist. We weren't surprised, but everybody else appeared to be surprised. But that's basic, general science. And that's something, these students would learn in the agribusiness program for sure. It's, how bacteria works, how viruses work, how the nematodes, those are just parasitic worms that live in the soil naturally, how they work. And it is a little intimidating. They're very smart. The fungus I worked with would figure out any kind of chemical that was used on it within 3 years. It's probably faster now. I mean, you have a great respect for pathogens, and honestly, plants have their own defense mechanisms. You get a very, very healthy respect very fast if you study them, especially at a genetic level too.
Well, I feel kind of guilty now that I was eating them exclusively. I have all these feelings and thoughts and brains. No, I'm kidding. I don't feel guilty at all. They deserve it. So, no. And, COVID's weird. Let's talk about COVID for a little while. I'm just kidding. Well, it's my brother. He has his PhD from Vanderbilt, and he's like a professor in research there, and wrote the book on clinical onboarding. So, super doctoral nurse research person. And he was saying what other people around here were saying was when COVID started, like, it's no big deal. Everybody's losing their mind over nothing, calm down. And then all of a sudden becomes a huge deal. And he and everyone else was like, everybody should be losing their mind over this and taking every precaution and not breathing in public. It just went from like one to the other pretty quickly. So I guess the question is, where did you land on it? I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer that. But yeah.
Off the record, when this is off, I'll tell you.
Oh, yay. I love that. So, no, I don't know. Like, Does that happen a lot though? Like the scientific communities, all on the same page for one thing, and then the next day,
Oh, we're
like, they
never on the
switch?
same page.
Oh, good.
No,
Okay.
we
That's what I like
fight
to hear.
constantly. Even in publications, you publish something and somebody will publish the opposite, and we go to conferences and fight each other. But that's what science is supposed to be, a healthy debate. It's
tea on this.
So math is we always joke that math's the only one true science, right? It's black and white. You're either right or wrong. There's no in between. There's no gray area. With science, like biology, chemistry, there's all these questions that we try to answer. But when you're working with a biological agent of any kind, it changes, it mutates. There's mutations in, organisms, things like that. So we're constantly chasing the answers, as they're developing. We're just chasing that answer over and over. And then we debate that. There's no one true answer like a math problem, So that's why you'll hear people talk about the scientific method and coming up with your hypothesis and testing that hypothesis. Everything we knew about COVID, for example, or we've had COVID viruses around for a long time, or I should say, I forget the word, but we've had those particular viruses around. It's not like it was a shock. It's just the type that was introduced that impacted us the way it did. But it was almost like we didn't know how viruses worked all of a sudden after all this time. We forgot that they mutated. We forgot that, yes, you can get a vaccine and, but next week it's going to have a different mutation. And are we really vaccinated for that one? So it was a very confusing time for a lot of people, even the scientists, apparently. But yes, we debate constantly. I think you saw that even during COVID on the world stage, where countries were debating each other on how to handle it. And you're just talking about a simple pathogen that really challenged our thinking in general.
Yeah, and honestly, like I can't keep up with where they are with all of that. And is Dr. Fauci like a good guy or bad guy? Like I can't read the right enough material or find the right enough articles to determine what's going on. No, and I know like it has a political spin to it, but is plant science in any way in that same category where there's like still a lot of debate over what's the best way to make sustainable vegetation, or is it pretty clear that we're going to be okay as long as we don't nuke each other?
There's lots of debate. There's lots of debate.
You can laugh. Sorry.
So there's always going to be debate, but I think you could give an example of one of the biggest debates is whether we grow things organically and the most healthy way for the world, or we use chemicals and grow massive amounts of crops. There's constant debate whether huge companies like Monsanto or Pioneer, whether they're doing the right thing by manipulating all the genes in these plants, all the genetically modified plants, which is most of corn, most of soybean are going to be genetically modified now to grow taller, to have more disease resistance, to be more heat tolerant, all that. But there's a whole school of thought that that's really what's messing with, the actual nutrition of the plant. And that's why you'll see a lot of people only buying organic produce and things like that. But the argument comes in, is that sustainable for the whole growing food for the whole world? Most of the crops you see around Arkansas, you're going to have some kind of genetic modification in them. Do we do away with that and have crops that are diseased and lose whole fields? Or do we keep, growing the same genetically modified thing that we can use a lot of chemicals on and not hurt the plants? I wouldn't deep dive into that one, here, but the debate's always going to be there.
Well, this will have more listens than any other scientific outlet out there. So I think this is the best place to share your opinion. So, no, it's probably pretty safe, actually. Hey, okay, so is there a 1-to-1 ratio comparison then, like, of what chickens, how big they're grown now to, like, where they were 50 years ago and, like, how they were, like, now they get so big their legs break or whatever.
I know.
You don't know this?
No.
Oh my gosh, Taylor. This is like a whole fun little rabbit hole.
They can't run?
Well, they can, but like they just grow fast. They grow bigger faster. And it's because they've been genetically modified and pumped full of hormones. And it makes bigger chickens for bigger plates. For
poor chickens.
To make bigger people.
More meat. Better price. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So is that what plants are doing too? And that's why there's, concern. And like apples weren't the same today as they were 75 years ago, right?
Absolutely, right.
Are they made to look more red or sweeter or something like that?
Yeah, you would avoid, so if you go to the grocery store and you're picking up apples, you're going to avoid the one that has a spot on it, or, where an insect may have burrowed into it, or a fungus spore got in there and started infecting the crop. So you're going to avoid those most of the time. You're going to pick out the nice ones. But organic, produce, if you go to the farmers markets we were talking about earlier, you'll notice that organic, produce a lot of times does have those spots and that's okay. It's, it's not going to have all that chemical resistance where we can just spray and spray and spray those apples and keep all those bugs off and keep all the fungus off. And it's, you're going to have to be okay with some of that. It might be a little smaller because we don't have the genetics to make it a big apple, The waxy substance they put on them in the stores makes them look really shiny and pretty to you. That's not normal in the field. They're real, pale or very opaque, not going to shine from the tree. So you just have to be okay with what's natural.
And here's why I'm okay with GMO. Have either of y'all had the cotton candy grapes?
Yes. I love them.
See, that's where it's like finally a breakthrough that I can get behind.
Really?
Yeah. Have you not had them?
I've not.
Oh, they're so good.
We're going to go find some today and bring them to you.
Oh my goodness.
It's going to change your life.
I've heard they're great.
It's going to change your science too. You're gonna be a believer in all this stuff if you're not already. No, yeah, I don't know. Like all this, yeah. Anytime I get around a smart person who knows stuff about this, I start thinking, both. I get to see both sides of it, and I appreciate that. I don't like living in fear. Do you live in fear around food? Like
no,
but what we're eating is gonna, lead to diseases and kill us faster and cause more like mental decline and all that.
No, I mean I'm in the everything in moderation camp. I think, be as careful as you can, but I truly think we need to live and not be stressed about everything that we're eating and consuming and breathing every day. I mean, it would crush people if they were obsessing about every little thing. Can we do better? Yes. And, be part of the solution if you feel called to do that. But otherwise, I think just live your best life and that's all you can do.
You have one kid?
I do.
How old?
7.
Is it boy, right?
Yes.
What's his name?
Alex.
Alex. Okay, Alex is 7. Is he on a strict diet of dino nuggets?
He would love to be, yes.
Yeah.
He is such a chicken nugget fan that I do buy the non-hormone chicken nuggets for him. There's a brand called Applegate that has chicken nuggets, and so he's just always loved chicken nuggets.
It sounds like a Watergate. Applegate.
Yeah. They're a little more pricey.
It's a conspiracy to be healthy.
Yeah, they're a little more pricey, but definitely when he eats as many as he does, I have to get.
Well, what kind of ketchup do you buy?
I just buy
not the organic
typical.
kind.
Yeah, it says organic, but
spicy,
questionable,
no,
probably.
Not the Whataburger ketchup.
It's just the Walmart organic kind. But I try. But he loves. He's allowed to eat other things. I think we all grew up and we survived a lot of strange things. So
that's what I was wondering. I sometimes I just look at my daughter's diet and I'm like, man, it's so cheap and she loves it. But it's like I would not want to eat that for myself anymore. Yeah. And am I doing her a disservice? And how can I train her? Because she's so picky.
Yes.
Like, how do I get her? And you have Rush, and he's 9.
He's so picky.
And I'm sure he eats the standard American kid diet. And, we all want better, but you also can't make your kid like kale, no matter how long you soak it in the balsamic vinegar.
Right. If you let them grow it themselves, it seems like that helps my son. If he can go pick a little cherry tomato off a tomato plant, all of a sudden he's eating them. He'll go pick the basil leaf off a basil plant and eat it. And he might spit it out, but at least he tried it. Like he's more apt to go out and, pick something that he's seeing grow. Mm-hmm. So that's helped a little bit. Yes. Yeah. Children are very
great
picky.
Idea.
Yeah. My mom claims that, because she has a garden, she claims that when Eleanor was 2 or 3, she picked a cucumber. And as she was walking in the house, she took a big bite out of it. I'm like, that is so wild that she would trust the cucumber. Of course, she spit it out and hated it, but that's. Will this community garden that we're growing, where you can come and pick your own? I guess, do we need like a faculty and staff discount so that way we can send our kids over there to try it?
That would be great.
Well, I think the 3 of us can make that happen.
I think so.
We'll talk to Dr. Norman. So this is off topic.
Okay.
Couple years ago, before COVID, all the baked potatoes were huge, and then they got really small. But then recently, there's big baked potatoes again. Within the last month, there's big baked potatoes.
Here's what will throw you. Did you ever eat at San Francisco Bread Company?
Yes, it's so good.
Those potatoes, I just always thought they were huge. They were cutting the ends off of 2 of them and squashing them together. I was like, you cheaters.
Yeah, it was Sam's had the big ones. Yeah. And then, but now they're starting to come back. All the big baked potatoes. We're like, what's happening with the farming?
But
back.
I love the skin on potatoes. And so those little bitty ones you can get, like you just throw in the microwave and it cooks everything together. Those are so good. Why are they so good?
Put some salt and some oil. That's probably not what you do, but I like make it all unhealthy.
Well, okay. We went to Outback for the first time in a long time last week, and we got a baked potato and steak, and the baked potato was covered in oil and like the big sea salt chunks.
Yum.
And I was like, just like, it was so good. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, it was so good. But anyways, I can't believe you've not had cotton candy grapes.
Oh, we're going to find some.
They taste just like cotton candy.
That's the only grape Rush will eat is the cotton candy grape.
And they know what they have when you look at the price of it.
Oh.
It's like $6 for like, the right, like a to-go size, but worth every penny.
So have you been to Herds?
I don't think so.
Oh, we got to take you to Herds.
Let's go today.
Yes. Okay.
You want to?
Yes. He brings in, he opens up for the farmers. So when you were talking about opening up a diner for farmers, he opens it up and he cooks everything for the farmers. Oh, and he brings in all these vegetables. He has the Campbell's peaches.
It's a cash only establishment still, I think.
Cash only.
Yeah. And if you don't call ahead, sometimes you have to wait forever to get your burger. But man.
Oh.
Even when I was like 1000% vegan, I would still eat a hamburger. If somebody was like, hey, let's go to Hertz today, I'd be like, okay, let's do it.
How far away is it from here?
20 minutes.
It is so good. And you would love, I love getting all the fruits and vegetables, and I think they have some fried pies.
I feel like we have to go there today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hertz.
Mm-hmm.
That's a must.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I asked the guy, I said, Mr. Hurd, I said, well, do you close? He goes, at the farmer's.
His name is Hurd?
Mr. Hurd. Well, Bob Hurd. Bob heard it here. So Bob told me, he said, well, if the farmers are there, we're open. So he's there for the farmers.
Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I saw him at a football game one time, and I was like, I feel like I'm seeing a celebrity at a game. Like,
he is.
How's everybody not like swarming around you right now? I guess he's the cook.
Maybe.
Or is he the guy who runs the register?
So father, son. One runs the register, one cooks, but I don't.
Okay,
I don't know which
I saw
one.
the son then at the football game.
Mr. Bob, I think.
Mm-hmm. Is your son starting at Walnut Ridge?
That's the plan.
Yes.
It's not official yet?
Oh, yes. I mean, I just got to get him registered. And all that sort of stuff.
What grade's he going to be in?
Second.
Oh, awesome. Do you know his teacher's going to be?
Not yet.
I think we find out this week. I think that the assignments come out this week.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Golly, what was Eleanor's second grade's teacher's name?
Miss Sarah.
Miss Sarah Hudson, yep.
Eleanor and Rush were in the same class.
Yeah.
Miss Sarah was great.
Yep. She was
really great.
I think Eleanor was one of 4 girls in there.
Yes,
and it was a lot of guys.
Wild boys.
Wow.
Yeah. Eleanor struggled that year.
It was all wild boys, and Eleanor and another little girl. There's sweet little girls and these wild boys.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So wild.
But Walnut Ridge has such a good high school or elementary school. I'm sure they have a great high school too. But yeah, I feel like we're super fortunate to have that in our town and for our kids. So you're going to love it there. Yeah.
There were some wild chickens that they posted like, whose chickens are in the front of the school? It's like only in Walnut Ridge would you have some chickens in the front of the school that someone had to go get.
Did you get to teach Kaylee Clark now, Kaylee Isaac?
Yes.
She's teaching there now.
Yes, she's a kindergarten teacher.
Oh my gosh, she's going to be so great at that.
So Tate, her husband, works in...
He's our alumni director.
And she's going to be a kindergarten teacher, and she's so phenomenal. There's just great teachers. And then Miss Foster, Dr. Foster's wife is the principal. Wonderful, wonderful. Just the admin. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kicked your leg. The admin and the students, and there's a bunch of country kids.
Yeah.
Not a bunch, but...
Yeah, I grew up in a small school that I think was pretty good. But in hindsight, you realize there's some flaws there and some faults. And I'm sure there are Walnut Ridge too, but we feel so fortunate. So... Between that and Williams being here, Walnut Ridge is just a good place to be.
I did a lot of research before I moved the kids, just looking at curriculum and teachers and what they have to offer. And I think one great thing, my daughter wanted to do multiple things. And so they could do sports. They didn't have to specialize, but they could also be in band and choir, and they could do multiple things. And when you get to the bigger schools, they have to specialize in those areas. But they are just a well-rounded, they get experiences that most kids wouldn't get at a bigger school because they can be involved. They need those kids to be involved in multiple sports and multiple things. So
yeah,
I think we're very fortunate.
Yep, I agree. Well, any final thoughts, questions, or answers?
We're the First Baptist University. You can cut that out, but that's awesome.
So if somebody wanted to learn more about this degree, what's the best way to get a hold of you, Dr. Davis?
I'm on the website. They can look us up there, email me, or get in touch with the admissions office. They have my cell phone. I'm very accessible. So, but yeah, we're having a registration event this Friday, the 18th, from 9 to 11 if they want to register. So we're still registering students. So,
and it launches this fall.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have Agribusiness in the fall. That's awesome. Party
Super
with the
exciting.
Prez is on Friday.
Yep.
Register for classes, then Party with the Prez at Lake Charles. Excited. Are you going?
I'm in the morning. I'll be there for the registration part, and we're going to stick around for the students as long as they want.
And you're not going to go to the park, though?
I don't know. I haven't made plans to do that yet.
Yes,
I'm going to be there with
Are
a
you?
drone.
Yes.
Not to, like, make contrails and, like, reseed whatever and, like, catch pathogens, but to capture the joys and laughter of students on kayaks.
Oh, we're going to be fishing and kayaking
and scuba diving to retrieve the drone out of the water, and it's going to be fun.
Chef Paul is bringing his barbecue truck, so we got barbecue.
Oh,
Excited.
that's neat.
Well,
Beach volleyball.
y'all ready to wrap it up here so we can
Yeah.
get to herds before they get too busy?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Thank you for listening, everybody. And this has been the Williams Pulse.